Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is Numan and you are watching Numan's Optohub. As you know, we started a very important chapter of optometry. We started a very important playlist of optometry called Retinoscopy. So, if you come first time to this lecture, I suggest you to watch out the previous two lectures, because if you watch those lectures, then this is easy for you to understand this lecture easily. So, in first lecture, we discussed how we will learn retinoscopy step by step. In second lecture, I told you about the construction, about all the things regarding retinoscope. I told you about the different components of the retinoscope, different components of the ophthalmoscope. In second lecture, I told you each and everything about the ophthalmoscope and retinoscope. And I also told you how you can differentiate easily between the ophthalmoscope and retinoscope. So, if you watch those lectures, then this is easy for you to understand this lecture. So, come to this lecture. First of all, you need to understand this statement which I write here. The statement which is said by Jack Copeland. Who is Jack Copeland? I'll tell you later, but first of all, you need to understand this statement. The statement of Jack Copeland is that you can't learn retinoscopy by reading a book. Jack Copeland said that you can't learn retinoscopy by reading a book. What does it mean? It means that, for example, if you are too much good in retinoscopy and you know all the things about retinoscope and you know how to perform retinoscopy, you are watching different lectures and you acquired knowledge from the books, from the lectures, but theoretically you didn't perform retinoscope practically. For example, if you didn't pick a retinoscope and didn't perform a retinoscope on patient's eye, on a person's eye, it means you are zero. It means you can't learn retinoscope. It means you have a knowledge about the retinoscope, but you are not able to do retinoscopy. Your retinoscopy is good, is too much good, but theoretically. So, if you didn't perform retinoscopy on anyone's eye, on patient's eye, on a person's eye, it means you are zero. Because when you perform, then it will be different. And if you learn, then it will be different, because you know that theoretically things are different and practically things are different. So, you can't learn retinoscopy by reading a book. Now come to the Jack Copeland. Who is Jack Copeland? Jack Copeland is a person who invented a divergence in the streak. Divergence means, for example, in plane mirror effect, we know that the streak is a divergent streak. The divergent streak is also called plane mirror effect. The convergent streak is also called concave mirror effect. Both are different. Plane mirror effect is that, divergent streak is called plane mirror, and divergent plane mirror, and convergent streak is called concave mirror effect. So, he invented the divergence, means that he is the man who invented divergent and convergent, who invented plane mirror and concave mirror effect in the retinoscope. Now come to the lecture. The first part of the lecture is a definition of the retinoscopy. What is the actual definition of the retinoscopy? Retinoscopy, it is a objective method to measure the optical power of the eye. There are two important words or two important things in this definition. First thing is that objective method. What is the meaning of the objective method? Objective word comes from observation. Okay, so it is an objective method. And the objective word comes from observation. So, the knowledge which I gain through my observation, it means that it is a objective method, and we gain knowledge while performing retinoscopy. I gain knowledge through my observation. I do not ask anything from anyone. I gain knowledge and gain calculations, all the things like that, through my observation. So, it is an objective method. I hope now you are able to understand the meaning of this word. It is an objective method, means it is an observational method. So, to measure the optical power of the eye, to measure the optical power of the eye. What does it mean? In retinoscopy, we are measuring the optical power of the eye, or we are measuring the amount of the refractive error. Which thing we are measure? Amount of refractive error or the optical power of the eye? Both things are same. Both things are same. Both things are same. Both statements are same. How both statements are same? Take an example. For example, if the optical power of the eye, what is the optical power of the eye? Optical power of the eye is plus 58 diopter to plus 60 diopter. Plus 60 diopter. This is the optical power of the eye. Optical power of the eye means that the power of the cornea and the power of the crystalline lens. Plus 43 diopter power of the cornea and the remaining power of your lens. It is a total optical power of your eye. It is a total optical power of your eye. Some books write plus 58 diopter, some books write plus 58.6 diopter, some books write 60 diopter. Take it plus 58 to 60 diopter. For example, the optical power of the patient's eye is plus 60 diopter. It means that he or she is emmetropic. He and she is emmetropic means that he can read 6x6 line without any spectacle glasses, without any spectacle, okay, without any corrective lenses. So if she or he has plus 60 diopter, we take an example plus 60 diopter, then it means he or she is emmetropic. So if the optical power exceeds, if the optical power is increases from the 60 diopter, means that if it is increases or exceeds, for example, we take plus 63 diopter, plus 64 diopter, or in other case, if it decreases like plus 55 diopter, plus 54 diopter. So if patient eye have more than 60 diopter power, means that he has 63 diopter, 64 diopter, means he is myopic. How is myopic? Because we will add minus lens to reduce the power from plus 64 to 60 diopter. How we will minus? We will minus 4 diopter. Take an example, plus 64 diopter of the patient eye. We will add minus 4 to gain the plus 60 diopter. If 60 diopter is attained, it means he is 6x6 or she is 6x6. So in other case, as we know, if power is increases more than 60, it means he is myopic, and power is decreases, it means this is hypermetropic. Okay, I hope this is clear for you. So if patient is hypermetropic, means that plus 55 diopter, then we will add plus 5 to obtain the 60 diopter power. If patient have plus 60 diopter power in his or her eye, it means he will see clearly 6x6 line. Okay, for example, if patient eye after doing the retinoscopy, the number will come, the corrective number is, for example, plus 4. What does it mean? It means that plus 4 means that patient's eye has plus 4 diopter less than the normal. Normal plus 58 to 60, we take 60. So if plus 60 diopter means that if she or he has plus 60 diopter, then they will clearly see and they will read clearly 6x6 line. So if we add plus 4, then it will become 60 diopter. And the patient will see clearly. So I hope now the definition is clear to you. It is an objective method. It is an observational method. Which method? It is an observational method to measure the optical power of the eye. Why observational method? Because we don't ask anything. From the patient or from anybody else. So it is an observational method to measure the optical power of the eye. How we measure the optical power of the eye? By this way. I hope now it is clear to you. It is easy for you to understand the definition of the retinoscopy. It is an objective method to measure the optical power of the eye. Or in other words, to measure the total amount of refractive error of the eye. So this is about the definition. Now come to the second point. After the definition, come to the second point, which is types of retinoscopy. there are four types of retinoscopy. Four types of retinoscopy. As we know that retinoscope is an instrument, and retinoscopy, the using of this instrument is called retinoscopy. So there are four types. There are four types to perform or to do retinoscopy by using retinoscope or by using this instrument. So the first type is called static retinoscopy. Static retinoscopy. The second one is called dynamic retinoscopy. And the third one is called Mahindra retinoscopy. And the last one is radical. There are four main types. Static, dynamic, Mahindra, radical. Just this is the types. These are the types. But they will further how static will perform. This is a technique. For example, in static there are two techniques. Like wet retinoscopy and dry retinoscopy. These techniques we will discuss in further lectures in detail. There are four types of retinoscopy: static, dynamic, Mahindra and radical. Four types of retinoscopy, but static will divide into wet and dry. Wet and dry means these are the techniques, these are the methods. Wet and dry are the method, static are the type. Keep in mind, four main types. Static divide or performed by these two methods, wet retinoscopy and dry retinoscopy. Like this, dynamic retinoscopy also has MEM method, and Bell's retinoscopy and Bell's method or Bell's technique also has Knot retinoscopy, like that, etc. Okay. So dynamic retinoscopy also divided or also has a method like monocular estimate method, MEM method, Bell's method, Knot method, etc. There are other methods which I tell you later in further lectures. Mahindra retinoscopy, radical retinoscopy. So these are the methods, these are the techniques, but there are four main types of retinoscopy. For this lecture this is enough. But just keep in mind there are four types of retinoscopy: static, dynamic, Mahindra and radical. We will discuss them in detail in further lectures, each type in detail in further lecture. After the types of the retinoscopy, we should have a knowledge when we need to do retinoscopy. We do retinoscopy when our patient is non-cooperative patient. We perform retinoscopy in patients who are non-cooperative. The second one, language barrier. We perform retinoscopy when we have a language barrier. We also perform retinoscopy in children's non-verbal childs. Okay. We also perform retinoscopy in special persons. I hope you understand what is the meaning of special persons, what is the meaning of special persons or special childs. We perform the retinoscopy when our patient is non-cooperative, when there is language barrier, and in children we need to do retinoscopy, and in also special cases, in also special persons or special childs, we need to do retinoscopy to attain the and to gain the actual amount of refractive error. Now come to the last part of the lecture. The last part of the lecture is that why retinoscopy is a misnomer. What is the meaning of misnomer? Misnomer means that the name retinoscopy is not a correct name. Means that if we break it down, retinoscopy, if we break this word, this will come. Retino means retina plus scopy means that to observe. Retina means, retina and scopy means to observe or to examine, okay. So while performing the retinoscopy, did we observe the retina? Did we examine the retina? No, we are observing the reflex which are coming from the retina, We observe the characteristics of the reflex. We don't observe and we don't examine the retina directly. So that's why retinoscopy is called misnomer. So the alternative names of the retinoscopy is pupilloscopy, chorioscopy, skiascopy, shadow test or shadowscopy. So retinoscopy is a misnomer. Misnomer means this is not a correct name. Misnomer. Why misnomer? Because retina and scopy means to observe, to examine. But in retinoscopy, we don't observe the retina, we don't examine the retina. We are observing the reflex. We are observing the characteristics of reflex. So that's why this is called misnomer. But now retinoscopy is worldwide. The word retinoscopy is worldwide acceptable. If you said that retinoscopy, then the other person understand the retinoscopy. What is retinoscopy? You don't need to change the name of the retinoscopy, but you must have a knowledge this is a misnomer. You must have a knowledge that retinoscopy is a misnomer. The alternative names: pupilloscopy, chorioscopy, skiascopy and the shadow test. In this lecture we discussed the actual definition of the retinoscopy in detail. We discussed the statement which is said by Jack Copeland. We discussed the types of the retinoscopy. We discussed why retinoscopy is a misnomer. And we also discussed the alternative names of the retinoscopy, which is pupilloscopy, skiascopy, chorioscopy and shadow test. The only thing is left, that is a principle which is very important. The principle of the retinoscopy. Is left, which we will discuss in next lecture. This is all about the today's lecture. I hope all the things and all the concepts regarding retinoscopy is clear to you. If you have any question, any query, then ask in the comment box. I will reply. This is all about the today's lecture. See you in the next lecture. Till then, goodbye.